put him on his back. Thurston, right foot kick, down the ground, into the in goal almost. Hodgson cuts it off. Hodgson taken by Norton. He took him late. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside. Richards pursued. He pushes Johnson away.
Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, the 23rd of July, 2025. You're back for another episode of the Tiger Town podcast with your hosts, Zach and Toby. Zach at this end, Toby at the other, brought to you as always by Best on Ground Digital, bestongrounddigital.com, the digital marketing agency that looks after the little guy. They will not steer you wrong. Bestongrounddigital.com, and coming to you live, fresh out of Leichhardt. Toby at the other end there, mate, down there in the corner when Adam Doueihi kicked that field goal. Must have been mighty horrible, son.
I wasn't in that corner, mate. I was not in that corner.
I know, you're in the far left-hand corner.
I was in the far corner. I was the opposite corner. But that was something incredible to be a part of. That atmosphere. Like, my God, you can't take games away from Leichhardt. That is it's just something special. Yes, it needs a facelift. It needs an upgrade. You can't take games away from it.
Yeah, well, I mean, in order to rebuild it, they sort of have to. But
yeah, I know, and that's going to be.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening off the back of that. I know we're going to have to wait a couple of years, but what's a couple of years? There's talk of the Balmain leagues as well has been approved, as far as I know. I don't know exactly where that's at. I've heard a few mixed.
I've heard that
mixed reports, but it's come back into rotation, residential and some commercial of late.
Yeah, I've heard that the excuse me, the story is that where the Balmain Leagues Club is, it's been approved for apartments. So whether it's underneath it, I don't know, but I've just heard
whether
that.
It's a leaguey at the bottom. Yeah. I don't know.
So,
I should double check that. I'm sure some locals are around that more than us.
Yeah. But, absolutely. Excuse me. But yeah, no, down for Leichhardt for the annual game that I go down there for. Shout out to Maddie and Brandon, who came up and said hi to me. Met Maddie last year, so good kid. Loves his Tigers. I think he was there with the boys from, what are they called? It's the other one.
Win, learn, or draw or something.
Win, learn, or draw. Yeah, I think he was there with those boys.
Yeah, the boys. So, Hemi
he was wearing the jersey.
Yep. Nice.
So he was happy.
Happy days. Oh yeah, he was the winner of the jersey giveaway earlier in the year too.
He was.
Man, making himself well known. He's getting around.
He is.
Oh, that's good. That's nice. Good to have catch up with the boys, and it would have been a good afternoon, mate. But the game itself, sitting there live, I don't know about you, but sitting in the lounge room,
it was a dog's breakfast, mate. It was a dog's breakfast.
Bludger of a game.
Mm-hmm. In saying that, but those games are generally the ones that we lose anyway. So nice
correct. Yeah, correct. And that was going to be the silver lining, I think, off the back of the discussion being that, in the past we lose that game every day of the week. We're fucking awful. Like,
we were so bad.
Bits and pieces and stuff, but I guess, part of the recovery on the way of a side coming back up the ladder is, can they win games where they're bad? In the past, we're lucky to win games when we're good. And we were never good. So, 2 points is 2 points. And an interesting point I heard somebody else make today is, the Warriors fell arse backwards over Saints on the weekend.
Knights,
on the weekend. Knights are, pretty average down there near the bottom as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the conversations around that with the Warriors are not being had the same way that they are with us off the back of it. By us, you and I, every punter, every commentator alike for the most part. So, in a lot of ways, 2 points is 2 points, and you sort of take it, and that's a silver lining. But, live there at the game, was it easy to see what we'd probably call a fair bit of disjointedness, or what did you make live?
Not from the back, like from where we were. So for anyone that is trying to picture where we were standing, we weren't on the hill. We were directly opposite, like in terms of we were at the eastern end near the river. I think that's the eastern end.
North.
North end.
Yeah, it's the northern end.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever, closest to the river. I don't know my directions. Who knows? But it was the opposite end of the Keith Barnes stand. So,
Yep.
It wasn't really easy to see how disjointed we were. What was very clear to see was how much drop ball we'd had it was like unforced errors, a lot of them. We had a big crew go down, like all my family's mad West Tigers supporters, and we had about 20 of us there. A lot of kids, and I was definitely a sailor for the day in terms of my language. So I had a few people just go, just calm it down a little bit. I'm like, no, they deserve to hear every berating I give them.
So, when we talk about disjointed live, what are you seeing there? People out of position. Who was talking?
Well, there was clearly there was clearly a lack of communication with May and Skelton at times. That was very evident, more so in defence. And then, we'll get to lifts and sink later, but another one was how sporadic Toa was. That was very evident from the back.
In what way? Where he was positioned, or
where he was positioned, where he was lining himself up defensively. They seemed to be on the outside of him very easily. So whether he was jamming, because it's very, very evident that our defensive structure is jam and then sweep. It's very, very evident that's the way we do it. We jam, we put pressure on, but there's always someone to sweep around the back to cover the overlap. But it just seems that jam that we've been doing, I think we've been doing it quite well this year. I think at times, it has gotten the best of us. We talked about the Warriors game last week, but this week it was just he was slow off the mark, quite slow, and it was causing. Charlie Staines obviously had a bludger of a game too, but it was causing the winger to sort of fall back just half a second, causing that, somewhat of a disjointed defensive line. And it also didn't help that Jack Bird was on that side either. So it was very clear that there was, in one way or another, it looked like that defensive line had clear gaps in it in terms of this isn't their position, they haven't played there enough, whatever have you. But that was very evident live.
They weren't a cohesive unit.
Best way to put it.
Which makes sense given the outs on that side and on that edge.
I know. Yeah. We really missed Sam. We really missed Sam.
From the lounge room perspective, I read the game just generically as, look, it was systems, but particularly early on, it was individual moments that people let us down. There was a lot of, some of the decisions by our wingers. Skelton was good and bad. He was both rocks and diamonds, to use a cliche.
Especially that first try. That was why.
Yeah. Unnecessary.
Both tries, actually.
Yeah, to a degree. And credit to them, they pulled it off. But that's a 1 in 10 shot at best, and they got it. But you provide opposition with opportunity at your own peril. And so look, Gerald, on that. Obviously, Charlie Staines had three awful base near on unforced errors. The execution wasn't quite there on a few bits and pieces, and that's how I saw that game early on. But a lot of that comes, people can have off games, but I think that particularly in that first half, it was a case of more that than the disjointedness. But the two do play into each other as well. I don't expect that to be honest, to be clicking really at all. the amount of disconnection through both edges, for that fact, and then within the spine in general, that we've had all year. But if you want to look at the post-Galvin era, as it were, we haven't yet started with the key spine yet. We had Samuela out on the weekend. Charlie Staines is back on a wing. He's been there for a couple of weeks, but he's not first pick. We've got Taruva at fullback instead of Buller. We had Appy and Jerome come in, but we had Tristan Hope starting off in the first 20 and then Appy coming off the bench. Like, it's just, what would the expectation around cohesion look like, really, given the amount of reps in the tank? Whether it's training or not, you've got to get it on the field, and that is accumulation of time spent together with combinations and whatnot. And I know it's not always possible, and in fact, it's rarely possible because of injuries happen. But in spite of all that, things still looked clunky. What seemed like basic common sense approaches to elements of the game seem largely bereft. And I point to, like, obviously fifth tackle options continue to elude us, and I don't know why. If you're going to introduce some simplicity to a game plan, make it early game plan fifth tackle options. Whether it's a die in a corner, we're not kicking a sideline because we want to keep ball in play, but simple high bombs, uncontested if you want, and pin them. Anyway, that was bad, but it showed big time in the field goal situation at the back end. Now, that was probably thrown out because of Jerome's play a couple of plays earlier with his. I thought he was there, by the way.
So did I. Oh, you should have seen us screaming him.
Yeah. And that would have been a moment. But so that probably put a bit of a spanner in the works as well. But they had a couple of plays after that.
They did, and
they shot left again, and so I don't think that was very smart football.
No, well, that was. I think that's
more inexcusable.
I think that there showed the inexperience of Latu, because Latu was the reason that went left when it should have gone back to another forward, straightened it up. Again, it was a wobbly ode.
Yeah, but Luai was he was the one that was over there playing the ball, I think, in the end. Or was he was over there with was he over there with the Cook's shoulder?
He was over there holding his shoulder.
Right. So he effectively he pulled himself out of the next two rucks.
Yeah.
That makes a little sense. But surely then, an Appy or something in situation. But yeah, you're probably right.
Oh,
Latu needs to learn that. And I'm sure Latu will learn that.
Yeah, that was I will say too, that was I'm pretty confident in saying that was that was Appy's worst game in a Tigers jersey. I think he was, and I say that with the utmost respect because he has delivered at such a high standard for so long.
And we'll continue to 2 more years into 2028. Congratulations, Appy. We love you.
We all are very happy with that. Don't get me wrong about that. But, and we said it last week. Everyone's allowed an off game. It does happen. But the level that we have come to expect from Appy has not exactly been there consistently this year. I think it was there at the start. I was extremely excited at the start. But he dropped off. And
he also won us the Souths game.
He did. He also won us the Dolphins game. So, no, I'm not saying it. It's just what we're used to seeing from Appy is that consistently, and obviously not winning us games, but he might not feel he needs to do that anymore. In terms of trying to be the savior all the time and maybe taking the weight off his shoulders because we have other people to lug that. But yeah, that wasn't his best game. And like I said, I think that was his worst game in Tigers colours. I felt like he was slow in terms of his passing. He had a couple of good darts from dummy half. That turnover, you should have heard me. You should have heard me in the stands. A lot of things that you can't say live on a podcast or even recorded on a podcast because then it'll be looped. But it was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's done it before. Our side, I'd love to know the stats on that. Our side would have to be the worst. I do have to say, Appy's fault, 100%. Get your head on. If I'm playing the ball,
you're looking behind you first.
After a stoppage from the ref, I'm 100% wanting to know that my hooker's ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, half of it's on Pole as well.
Yeah, not even half, but a bit. It needs to be better there too.
That, how many times are attackers allowed to be given 3-4 steps and then just play the ball?
Yeah,
he took a little bit of a dive, and Belinda Sharp goes, "Oh no, go back."
Yeah, that was weird. That wasn't off the mark. Anyway, I don't see it the same way as you on Appy. I agree, his service has not been good. In fact, his service needs to be way better. I wasn't overly happy with Tristan Hope's stint either, if I'm being honest. I thought I thought that an extra variable that we didn't have to or shouldn't have had to deal with last week, on top of us playing generally poor, was our service out of dummy half for most of the game. The passing was really poor. It was to the wrong man. It hit the ground several times. It oftentimes was behind the man, so we were back up behind. I think, in fact, actually, no, that's a different point. But
were you going to say that Doueihi behind Latu?
I think that's the one. Yeah, that I was going to talk about. And even that passing, that wasn't linking very well either. We were just off. We'll get to that in a sec. Happy though. Yeah, that mistake at the start, bad. I think that sort of I think that put a bit of a dampener on people's opinions of his game overall. I thought after that moment, with the exception of, some of his passing, which, I accept is his job, I thought he was actually relatively strong. I thought he looked dangerous at times, and he got us over the advantage line relatively well, which is quite good at getting his man on. And look, defensively, he was pretty sound through the middle for the most part too. So I thought, other than that couple of mistakes, or that key mistake, and his service, I thought he was all right. I thought it was just one of those games where people are going to, look back on it because of that absolute shocker.
So let's go back to what I said at the start, where I said I think it was his worst game in Tigers colours. Doesn't mean that his worst game, he had a horrible game. It's just we're used to having such a high standard of, I guess, what he delivers.
Yeah, fair enough. He's had a couple of Barry Crockers though for us. He has over the last few years. The man that's carried us on his back, full disclosure, but he has had a couple of shockers. Anyway, lift and sink, mate. We've mentioned a couple of nines. Do you want to get in and tell us who you're sinking?
I think my lift is going to be pretty obvious. I'm going to go Taylor May.
You always take the big meaty mango that's just
you give it to me first. Why don't you start first then?
Because I'm selfless, mate.
No, you're not. You just don't know who you're going to pick.
I do. And I'll tell you in 3.5 minutes.
So Taylor May, for what? Sorry, fix that bloody thing up. What a debut! Wow, he exceeded all my expectations. He was strong in defense. 8 line breaks. 8.
What?
He was.
That's not for him.
Quick.
That's the side. That's the team.
Oh, sorry, not line breaks. Tackle break. Sorry, tackle breaks.
Okay.
8 tackle breaks. Sorry.
1 line break, 3 line break assists, 2 try assists, 8 tackle breaks, and a play the ball speed under 3 seconds, 2.98, the fastest of anybody in the side, sans Tristan Hope, who played the ball once. Fucking-sational, mate.
Watching him play because they were running towards us in the first half, he looked dangerous every time he grabbed the ball. Every time he got the ball, he looked like Jojo Fafita was just, outgunned.
He struggled, didn't he?
And he was in a lot of the time. So,
Jojo Fafita looked like he was Stafford Tower and Brian Kelly was Taylor May on the other side, because they did it to the opposite.
Yeah,
the opposite three-quarter.
You just led me into my sink, which is Stafford Tower.
Yeah,
I could have gone the easy option and could have gone Charlie Staines.
Pause. I just want to keep talking about Taylor for a sec, if you can humour me. I wanted to add that not many people, I don't think, realise, but I reckon you're going to realise, Jerome Luai is going to start making line breaks. Because as soon as you've got Jerome Buller sweeping out the back, who is a legitimately scary threat for the opposition, on that left side, you've got Samuela who's going to go to that side, and you're going to have Taylor May, who we've seen is a clear early ball weapon, so he's dangerous, and then you've got one of the hardest running wingers on the outside. Jerome Luai is going to do exactly what he did with a minute to play on the weekend, which is throw the dummy in and slice through. The reason that Taylor May is so important that people will come to know is that all game he got a lot of ball and was a threat. So the moment that it looks like Luai is going to pass to Taylor May, eyes go off Luai and they go to May because they need to get to him and shut him down.
Yeah.
Boom, Luai's gone. And like dead set, watch it start to happen. I guarantee it's going to start to happen. And Luai's that smart of a footballer. All those dickheads all around bagging Luai for his output so this year, you watch it start to go. He's that smart that he has figured that out throughout the game, knows Jojo's going to push off early, and then he's going to go through. Had that game gone for another 10 or 15 minutes, I reckon he would have made another couple of line breaks. Or we didn't, like, that was even without having a strong sweeping fullback who's a threat. Tito wasn't sweeping that much. He was doing bits and pieces and then shoveling. I don't think he even took the line on the sweep, cut back and took the line on. So have Buller out the back of that. Samuela, whose line running is getting better and better. Fucking hell. That edge, man, is it's
potent.
It looks pretty shit hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, there's no denying what Buller is going to bring to that, as well as May. But I think the key part there too that you were sort of bringing up more so is how much Sam is evolving and how quickly he's becoming, in my eyes, and I think in your eyes, one of the elite back rowers in the league. He's still got so much in developing, and so the ceiling is so high for him. Now, I didn't say he is one of the elite back rowers. I said he's quickly becoming one, which means that, he's still probably got another year or two left until he is one.
Yeah.
But how smart of a footballer he is at 21 years old?
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
At 21 years old, how smart of a footballer he is. There's so many players now that I'm looking at that I need reassurance that they're locked up. I know he's locked up for another 3 years, I think.
2 after this. So the boys signed a 4-year. So
4-year deal.
End of, what's that put? End of 27? No.
Yeah.
Yes, end of 27.
So
next year is Fainu extension year.
Yes.
So
this year is May extension. Next year is Fainu extension.
Yeah. It's been Happy extension, which we'll get to shortly, but
yeah. And so that is just it, having such a damaging center. It's funny that you say that Luai, he's just going to carve defensive lines up now just with his show and go and his speed off the line. If you really think about probably one of the most damaging centers ever in our game in Greg Inglis when he was playing center in Origin, how many line breaks when Darren Lockyer was playing off him did he get? How many line breaks did Jonathan Thurston make when they were playing off of him? It's just having that factor in your attack. Like people, like you said, people don't understand how integral it is.
Yeah,
because it takes the whole it takes the defensive lines, the structure completely out of whack. Because if you really think about it, people, they slide, they pivot, they shoot, they do whatever. But if you have somebody that can break at least 2 or 3 tackles, and is quick, and can give an offload, you
they're a threat.
To swarm them. You have to swarm them.
They're a multiple threat, and I think it's a good way to think about it. To simplify it in a way, I think, is that when you're adding to a back line, you can add, like addition, you can add this player and that player, and this player brings that, and that player brings that, and then this player brings that, put them together in a team. But I think when you get the right people in the right positions, or you get people that are active threats in those positions, they become multipliers. Because Taylor May makes Jerome Luai's game inside him a better running threat because eyeballs are shifting. It makes Sam Weller a better line runner, or a better line runner option. It gives Jareem Bullen more time, which opens up possibilities for his attacking abilities. So they become multipliers of one another because their strengths pulls defensive percentage away from them, or away from the inside and outside men, because they have to, because they're a threat. Like when we talk about someone like a Seyfarth on an edge, for example, we know what we're going to get with Seyfarth, but Seyfarth is a known quantity. Seyfarth doesn't have that much of an impact inside or outside. He's not of that, with respect, he's not of that higher quality where he can pull eyeballs off. So if you've got Latu going on, say, a Seyfarth side, or even say Jerome, if Seyfarth's filling in on the left for Sam Weller, then you got Jerome going to that side. All of a sudden, they probably should, because Seyfarth can run a good line. It's probably not the best example, but not as many eyeballs, I don't think, would be on a Seyfarth as would be a Sam Weller. Therefore, Luai doesn't have the extra split second or the early split second of, say, a Fafita turning out to then duck and go. And so it just reduces the amount of distraction that he can play with in the opposition or in the defensive line. So that's where, when you sit down and you map out what that edge, we only know might look like, but, is possibly or potentially looking like into next year and beyond. You can then sit there and go, well, the strengths of each of these guys is going to play so well into these areas. And then you can even go back to the narrative a week or two back directly with Luai and talk about how we can start to see why those statistics are what they are and have been what they have been. And you can see that trajectory go, right, well, either he's fallen off a cliff in his ability, or this is going to bring new opportunities, which will by default improve his statistical output, because he's going to have an increase of opportunity.
Absolutely. And I think it's, we were adamant that we still needed, and I'm still adamant we need one more center. I think we've got the other one. I think we still need one more. But
you got to keep in mind who's in the club. We've got Stafford Toa, who has been down in the last month, seems hurt, but has had probably his best year by all measures. And early in the year looked like, he did,
and there's no two ways about that.
And then you got Hamasi.
Hamasi's the other one, but Hamasi, I still would like them to give him another year, but you are adamant he's ready, and based on his highlights, it's hard to disagree with that.
I watch. Yeah,
he's so strong. He is showing that he is already too good for New South Wales Cup.
Look, I don't know about. Sure, I'm not going to disagree with you. For me, it's the physicality. Like I'm looking at a 17-year-old kid. I don't matter who it is, and if they're playing up against grown men for the first time, quote unquote grown men in Cup, it's everything around the physical. We were talking about it pre-show. It's the willingness to take carries for one, so it's work rate. It's 1%ers around defensive efforts, particularly. Whether that's getting up off the line, so line speed stuff, whether it's chasing out hard for a marker instead of just generically chasing out to cover. It's all those little things. It's literally how he looks in contact, both sides of the ball, which is just stupid. Like it looks ridiculous. I've watched the games, but if people haven't, hop on and watch the New South Wales Cup highlights from the last couple of weeks. You'll get an idea what we're talking about.
You're not getting a Barstool's subscription.
I got a short one.
You bugger. Should have told me.
Yeah, that's right.
I would have stolen it off you.
And, nothing but West Tigers on Twitter, who we will oft give mentions to because puts together awesome content without any of the silliness. Sorry, the camera's just going a bit silly buggers there. There we go. And has stitched together a few packages from Hamasi's couple of games, and it's worth a watch. It only goes for a couple of minutes, and you get to see all of his carries and defensive efforts. So, look, on the Makasini situation, I was a big proponent of, I don't see any reason to debut him this season. And then I saw him play New South Wales Cup. And the argument I'll make for doing it is you get the fanfare of the debut build-up out of the way at a point and in a season where it doesn't matter. So he can come back. He can come back into the NRL at some point next year, and he'll no doubt play NRL next year. Injury gods permitting.
This week, isn't he?
Yeah, this week or next, I think. And you're not making your debut. You're somewhat of a known quantity. The next big thing, headlines and all that sort of stuff, won't be around as much because chances are all that fanfare nonsense. When you are a type of player like him, think back to, I heard somebody earlier in the week mention the likes of Suoli'i and the stuff and fanfare and stuff around him when he come through, like similar sort of situation. So I understand that. And to be honest, I don't think it's needed. And I think Taylor, if anything, Taylor coming in buys us time. But I tell you what, Stafford Toa better watch over his shoulder, particularly defensively at the moment. Look, he might just be playing busted, and maybe he's due for a break, and maybe that's a good opportunity to bring Hamasi in for a game. But we do have time up our side or up our sleeve when it comes to Makasini, which is the good thing. And I think Taylor May does that because, goodness me, to say it again, what a debut!
What a debut!
What a club debut! So you're getting back before to your sink.
Yeah, because we went on a bit of a tangent there.
Yep.
But so my sink is Toa. I think I said this last week. I don't think he's 100%. I don't know why we keep picking him. I would prefer him be 100% because we know how devastating he has been this year. But what that has led has been a very inconsistent performance over the last month or two. That is what's led to this. Thing. He was passive in defense. He was sort of flaccid in attack. He didn't offer anything, and that was really, really evident from the live at the game. Now, I think he got maybe half the ball that Taylor May did, but he did nothing with it. And he had some very poor reads in defense. He fell off that Brian Kelly tackled him, and I think it was Polo that made that break for that kick to the group.
That was awful.
Like that was pathetic. That was jersey grabbing. And all credit to Brian Kelly, but he would not be in my top 10 centers. Maybe even not top 20 centers going around the league at the moment. And this is a bloke that plays NRL, so he is head and shoulders above 95% of every player out there. But Stafford Toa was just outclassed by somebody that should not have outclassed him.
Yeah, on paper. Definitely. Yeah, he had an off game. I'm not going to put it down to injury, though, because people have been saying for a month that, it looks like he's carrying an elbow or this, that, and the other. I just think he's out of form, unfortunately, because he's had such a great year. I don't think he's terribly out of form. I think it's a combination of not as much ball or opportunities going that side. I think it's also missing Dream and the impact he has in distribution of ball to his edge. And Galvin was getting him a lot of early ball earlier in the year as well. Is that happening as much? I don't know. Since Jareem has been out, he's been playing more of a fullback, second receiver type role on the sweep in attack, which has been weird. So not only is he not getting the ball in the same position, he's getting it early, but he's getting it with a different role. He's often shoveling on. So could be a number of things, but as far as I'm concerned, he's in the side. He's getting through 80 minutes every single week. He's on the week, like I know a couple of weeks ago he was grabbing the arm in pain a little bit, but on the weekend he didn't seem to be doing that from what I saw. So I just think, again, he had a bit of an off game, and I think he's out of form. So I'm not going to say, though, that, he's playing busted, therefore he gets a pass. He needs to be better, I think. And some of the things that were happening on the weekend, they weren't good enough. What I'll say, though, is that Staines, again, we've gone from absolutely wrapping him to him turning in probably a couple of weeks of disappointing performances, because he wasn't too crash-hot against the Warriors, although many of us weren't. Many of them weren't, I should say. But like, we were very passive in that try on the left on the weekend early, and where Stafford came in, it didn't need to, broke structure. But if Stafford's going to do that, Staines needs to be watching Stafford. We've been through this 1,000 times before. You watch the back right ankle of Stafford Toa's foot. You put one eyeball on that and one eyeball on the ball. Like, whatever Stafford's doing, you're doing. There should be communication there, and not having Tito there, who he's played with for the majority of the season, definitely contributes to it. But I think that combination badly contributed to how Stafford looked as an individual, particularly defensively. And I think he has been used differently in attack for the most part, in a lot of ways, I should say, since Buller's been out, with him having that different role. So I think that once Taruva gets back, which won't be this week, sadly, hopefully next week he'll get back on the wing with Buller coming back, fingers crossed. I heard he was due to come back this week.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah, round 21.
So I'm going to assume they're going to save full strength for the Bulldogs, try to put one over him. Anyway, I think that Toe is a victim of a couple of things, and I think form is one of them, but I think it's compounding factors. Having Tito back, I think, helps decision-making on that edge, I should say. And when there's doubt, and when he's not trusting his outside man, which I don't think he has trust in Staines as a defender, I think that contributes to something like the Brian Kelly situation, because he himself is distracted because of lack of trust in one of his own defenders, whatever percentage point that might be. So at that point, he doesn't know, does he need extra cover for Staines, or can he trust Staines on the outside? Can he stay tight? Whatever, if that's a contributing factor or whatnot. But yeah, hopefully he comes good once that edge starts to get pieced back together a bit. Band-aided back together.
So what's your lift and sink?
Yeah, I mean, you took the nice easy one. It's interesting because, like, I think Terrell was outstanding, but I also thought Terrell could have been better. One key thing I want to mention about, so he's not my sink at all. He was great. But one key thing I want to mention, he played 80 minutes, which is outstanding, but he had 24 carries for, only 158 metres. Now, normally, I don't know what that ever works out to be. I'm assuming it's somewhere around 2/3. So, yeah, well, it's basically bang a little under 2/3. So something like 6 metres 40 a carry or something. But that's way under his regular carry. Not carry a load, 24 is a lot, but the output, we'd expect 24 carries to him to be easily up over 200. I mean, am I splitting hairs? I probably am, but in a game where at times I thought our forwards could have been better, definitely. Maybe a little bit more directness is what maybe we could have used from Terrell, considering that he was playing one of our middle positions for the entire game. I thought he probably played the least direct of our props. That being said, he looks dangerous when he's chiming in those positions, and we're probably maybe in some ways seeing the immersion of a Lockie type role, or a bit of a roving prop role. I don't know. Terrell's his own beast, but yeah, look, he's probably got to land on my lift because there's a few other players in that side that, not really putting their hand up, to be perfectly frank with you.
No, and I know probably a few people would have put Doueihi in there, but Doueihi had some moments of gold, but he also had some moments he'd want back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and credit to him though. Like, it's good to see him get that moment. You know, if he is indeed on the way out of the club, and I don't believe necessarily that that's going to happen. I actually starting to think they might get a deal done.
Yeah, so do I.
I think some of that money's going to go there, which would be great. Here's what I think will happen on Adam Doueihi. I think we're going to re-sign him for a year on about 380, 375, 380. They'll find somewhere in the middle. He'll play lock for the year, or at least attempt to. He'll probably have to jump in certain roles throughout the year. And I think he's going to sign for Perth.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
I think he'll be their marquee player. He played for Norths when Norths were a feeder to Souths. Were they? No. He played at North. Who did he play at? When did he play at North? He played at North at some point. I remember seeing him in a North's jersey.
Yeah, I think Norths was South Speed for a while.
Were they? That sounds familiar to me
I think
too.
so.
That's confusing.
No, I think so. I think they were, but it's just to sort of backtrack there. It's a big call to say Adam Doueihi's the marquee signing. That's a big call.
Did I use that term?
You did, yeah.
I don't know why I even used that word. I wasn't even referring to that at all. But I just meant just like as one of their inaugural signings.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he will too.
And I think that would be a good fit, to be honest. Like I like having Doueihi in the side. We've had, you and I over the years have had our phasic relationships or opinions on Adam Doueihi and where he fits and does he belong and should he be captain, and yes he should and no he shouldn't and we don't need him anymore and everything in between. But you can't deny, one, that the bloke loves the club. Two, that he is enjoying playing in the current setup. I know that there's been rumours and murmurings and blah, 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 blah. He looks, a bloke on the weekend, looked very happy to win that football game.
He looked very happy, didn't he?
Yeah. And two, he's showing versatility and a willingness to improve his game. From the last couple of years to this year, I think the improvements in Adam Doueihi have been some of the greatest in terms of areas of needed improvement that I've seen in him over the course of his career. Like, we've been talking about his defensive decisions and his physicality for his whole time back at the Tigers. And this year, he's gone a long way to fixing a lot of that.
I agree. He's been someone that I've been shouting from the rooftops for the last, probably this whole year. He's probably been the biggest improver.
Yeah.
In a lot of areas that we thought he had a lot of deficiencies.
Yeah.
Predominantly defense.
Yeah.
But he's become kind of like a spider. He just sticks to him.
Yeah. No, he's proven his value. The lock experiment doesn't look great, but at times it looks really good. And so I think there's a proof of concept in there somewhere. And, I know that publicly they won't admit that they're throwing the season in, but I think that the back end of this year is a chance to play around with a few of those combinations and see if they can't figure out a plan moving forward around that, even if it is Doueihi as a placeholder for, player X to fill that role if Doueihi decides to go elsewhere.
Well, I mean, there's I don't know. Again, I'll bring this guy up again. I want to know what his name is because I love everything he writes, but it's all things West Tigers on Facebook. He posts on all the social pages and stuff, but he brought up he brought up the topic of Doueihi, as well as us going after that young kid from the Titans, I think it is. Javen something.
Andrews?
Yeah,
Javen Andrews. Yeah, he was with our Cubs program back in the day briefly, a couple of years back, I think, 22, I think.
Yeah.
I think they had
his whole theory was that, well, first and foremost, and this is something I always agree with, while we're thinking everyone's playing checkers, Richo's playing chess, he knows what he's doing in the background. So he's like going after this guy who is a carbon copy in terms of stature, in terms of ball playing of Doueihi, really. And then going after him for a myriad of reasons.
That's interesting.
First off, it's a great coup for us because, he dominated in Queensland, in the origin for Queensland under-19s.
He was player of the match. He's a 5'8". Javen Andrews is a 5'8"
at home that's playing along
in the Titans system.
But he's like 6'3", very sort of lanky, so to speak. But he's a quick mover, very quick mover, very, very strong. I don't want to say who he looks and moves like. No, don't. Because we don't draw comparisons anymore. Even though you already drew comparison.
I'll just say that look, if Javen put on a coach's shirt and wandered into the NRLW setup, started coaching them on fullback play and stuff, then and you were up in the grandstand without your glasses on, you might think nothing has changed from the coaching setup last week.
So, anyone that knows, I've got
Is that a 1,500 piece jigsaw puzzle or is it a 4-piece?
Nah, well, I was just going to let everyone know that I've got like a GI track issue. Anyone that knows, a GI track issue. Get it?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, you on your way back.
Can I keep going?
I was just going to say, on your way back through from Sydney, did you stop in the Barraville pub, mate, by any chance? Or you?
I didn't go through Barraville. No, didn't go through Barraville.
Well, would have had to come up to Queensland to get to Barraville.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he wasn't born in New South Wales, was he? He was born up there. That's
I heard someone call it Bowraville the other day. I said, actually, it doesn't really matter what I said because it wasn't very polite.
All right, you got on your tangent. I'm going back.
Sorry.
So this young kid,
Javen Andrews.
Yes, he said that there's twofold here. One, we sign him as a great backup for our halves. It's also a safety net if Romy does activate a clause, because he is an absolute weapon. But he's also someone that can develop into a very handy ball-playing lock. Also, what it does is it forces the Titans to throw a shitload of money at this kid and then have to let someone go. Who that someone could be, I don't know. He might have gone off with an MCL injury on Sunday. So, who knows? But I just thought that was a good read.
Hang on.
Hey.
Hang on. Hey.
Conspiracy theories, mate.
Hey, what fan fictions, NRL fan fictions, have you been reading?
The ones that make me fall asleep quite quickly with a smile on my face.
I see. I'm not interested. No thanks. Don't want to know any more about that. Javen Andrews, good young player. You know what he is. He's just another player we're going to add to the system. So hopefully the system, which is on the mend, given that there's every chance, given his age, he'll come down and play flag next year. Flag Cup, whatever else it might be. And if I had $1 for every Queensland under-19s state representative that you never hear of much again, with respect, still much better footballers than I was, I would be very rich, because junior talent is not indicative of future success. So hopefully he's a good young player. I've seen a few highlights
from Anthony Large recently.
No, but you will. Don't get smirky on that one. He's a player. Anyway, we'll carry on, mate. That game on the weekend.
You haven't given me your lift and sink yet. You said lift is Terrell. What's your sink?
Didn't I give you a sink?
Stink? No, you didn't give me a stink.
No, I said sink.
Sure you did.
I'll sink your fucking ear canals in a minute, mate. If you don't learn how to listen. Ah, goodness. We've put the boot into a couple of people already, haven't we? Tristan Hope. Tristan,
okay.
Mate, I'm good friends with one of your best buds. Get on the podcast. But in the meantime, you're a little legend. But your service needs to be better. Your service was shit on the weekend. Be better. You're a solid player. Defensively, very sound. But look, to be honest, you and Appy were your service with both absolutely awful at times. So passes out in front. Look at me trying to coach somebody who clearly is echelons above my pay grade. That's about me. Look, to be honest with you, they're 2/3 of the side as a minimum. Could have been far better. We did skull drag a couple of people early, and rightly so. Fanua was poor again. Like a couple of these couple of what seemed to be concentration errors, these lapses.
Absolutely, that miss on Brian Kelly, like that's the one I keep going back to.
Yeah. But short of singling people out, we might move on a little bit from that one. Very, very happy to get the 2 points. Very, very happy to see Des Hasler exposed as the fraud he has always been. The most overrated coach, in my opinion, in the modern NRL era. Absolute myth.
Really? Now Meninga, anyone?
Didn't coach NRL. He's about
yes,
to, and it's going to be fucking hilarious.
No, it was ARL, wasn't it?
Yeah. Didn't coach NRL.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Yeah, it was funny to see him have a meltdown and get really angry, like dad gets, like a father gets at the kids when they've been in the shower too long. Yeah, fuck yeah. That was pretty funny. And his hair was fluttering across his face. That was gold. If we don't beat the Titans in the return match in a couple of weeks, or in several weeks' time, disappointing, yes, but deflating, probably. Like, that side's pretty busted. Is Tino going to come back for a game or two from the MCL? Like, MCL's 4 to 6 weeks on a bad one. He'll probably be back in 2 or 3. So that's something we've got to look ahead to and make sure that gets done, because I dare say that the wins of the next 6 odd games coming up, with a bye in there as well, that would be one that we most definitely would be hoping to get in the bank.
Well, I mean, I think that one there will be what might put your prediction over the line in terms of 5 of the last 7, because we've done 2.
5 of the last 7 would be Titans twice.
Yeah.
Manly,
Bulldogs.
Cowboys
Bulldogs.
Cowboys at home, and the big one was the Bulldogs. My upset is the Bulldogs in 2 weeks. I don't think we'll get Penrith. I think we'll be in Penrith's wheelhouse, or in there, or I think we'll be in their realm, but I don't think we'll get them. I'd love to, but I reckon we're going to be up for that Bulldogs game. I reckon it's going to be a good game.
Because is that at home or is that at ANZ?
Don't know. Actually, to be honest, I haven't looked ahead that far. Might be. Don't know. Do they play out of Allianz or ANZ? ANZ, don't they?
I think so.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
anyway,
who gives a shit?
Mate, victories are good, especially when you're there live. Anything else you want to say on the Titans?
No, rubbed shoulders with Dean Hallertau. He said that I am now his best mate, so it's good to know.
Just from rubbing shoulders. That's a little bit strange way to break the ice.
Brother ran into Johnny Scando. Scando was there. And yeah, Benji asked me to come and join the coaching staff. I just said I was too busy in Queensland. So.
All right, shut up. Is it time?
Yeah, it's time for me to stop talking shit and talk footy again.
It must be time for Toby's weekly Pathways Roundup.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You are an absolute weaponhead.
Mate, Mad Dog. Look, stand-up desk. I've got choreography now, mate. We're upping the game.
It's about time that you join the system.
I should be standing still, though. Over to you, Sonny Jim.
So we'll start off with the women's game. So I was actually there for this. Very disappointing loss, because we were up at one point. We were 8-6 up at halftime, and then we scored the first try after halftime. Looked like we were going to run away with it, but we kept scoring in the corner, and we did not seal a single conversion. So it's a bit difficult for the girls to kick that fast. So, but it was a hat trick to another hat trick. I think that's her second one now, to a young Caitlin Turnbull. So congratulations, girl. But yeah, at the end, the Titans came home with a breeze at their backs, and yeah, they sealed it. So disappointing. Was really cheering for them. I will say one thing. I think we need to start going to market for a new halfback. I just think that Lutu's a little bit. Yeah, it's just there's not enough structure there in any way, shape, or form. So it's unfortunate.
Lutu is a weapon, though. I just think that I just don't know if it's the right position for her.
That's
a lot of skill, a lot of strength. Good player, very young too.
Yeah, I think she's only 19.
They probably just need some help, though. Like someone just to get them around the field, like a Maddie Studden type. 21.
So Lutu's 21.
Yeah. Probably, I reckon, better suited as a running 5'8" of sorts.
I reckon she's better suited as a lock
and stuff. Yeah, but if you can get her wider, though, because she is that triple threat, she can run past kick. So,
but it's we were going up against Jamie Chapman, who was in absolute red hot form. She was destroying. I think she ran for like over 200 meters, maybe. Yeah, no, I think so. Hold on. I just want to confirm this and see if I was right or not. Where are we? Oh no, she only ran for 140. But yeah. So then we'll move on to the men's game. So we played the Panthers on Saturday out at Lincoln. Went down 24-28. We were down at half time, so we did by 4 points. So we just kind of kept that momentum going. Conversions aren't the thing that let us down, and we came back into the game from a sin bin to Riley Price. But yeah, it was just another game that I know we were in it for the majority of it, and we just couldn't get ahead. Macassini had a blinder again. Ran for 141 meters as a 17-year-old playing against men. So had I think he had 100% tackle. Didn't think he missed a tackle. 7 tackles, no misses, 1 intercept. So yes, unfortunately we got the loss. But we're still seeing some improvements from the New South Wales Cup team. A lot better than last year. And then finally,
what's interesting is that Tui Tupo, on that quickly, who's been called up, is probably he's been really good all year, but he's probably had his 2 down weeks the last couple of weeks, and off the back of that, he's earned a call up. So just find that interesting.
He is barnstorming out of the back.
It's barnstorming, all right.
And then finally, we did get so we had a 50% win rate this week with the young boys getting over the Panthers 32-20. Broadalow went over for a try. Folletti scored again. Folletti is showing that he's still needs more development, and I think we pushed him in New South Wales Cup too quickly, personally. And Tavana kicked 4 from 6.
I think we also everybody always forgets how young Folletti is.
Yeah, I mean Folletti can still play in Flag. He's still pretty young, people.
He's 20. Yeah. Yep, exactly right. And he's going back to Manly anyway next year. So
has that been confirmed?
I haven't seen it confirmed, but for all intents and purposes, I think he's going on a training trial or something over for their cup side. The Blacktown Workers.
Workers got absolutely destroyed on the weekend.
I don't think they've been going too crash hot though, have they? Aren't they coming last or near last? Rabbitohs are last.
Well, it might have been in the Ron Massey Cup they got destroyed. Yeah, I think it was in the Ron Massey Cup. What did I say? I looked at it before. Yeah, the Workers got destroyed 80-0 by the Mounties.
No, that's not good. Was that in Massey?
Yeah, Ron Massey.
Yeah.
So there's no one really that in Ron Massey from them. So yeah,
all right, mate.
So that is the wrap up for the week.
All right. Very good. We'll probably just jump into having a talk about this Panthers game, which is 5:30 Saturday out at Combank. It is a Penrith home game, though. So it's going to be all decked out in Panthers gear. Good little stadium out there. I'm not a big fan of that time slot, to be honest with you. As a man with young children, it's a crappy time slot, to be perfectly frank. But it is what it is, mate. We line up like this. We've got still no Buller at fullback. So Tito is the fullback. That is Sunia Tito Taruva. Isaac Tuitupo, formerly Isaac Thompson, who has played for the Rabbitohs, has come up from the call-up from New South Wales Cup. Very tall, New Zealand-born winger. Strong, over 100 kilos, 6 foot odd 3, 6 foot odd 4, something like that. Has been playing sensationally for the most part in New South Wales Cup. Big yardage carries, up over 170 plus metres most weeks, if not all weeks. Plenty of line breaks, plenty of tries. He's an aerial threat as well. But he has spent a lot of his career in reserve grade. So he is in really good form. So hopefully he can come up and do a good job for us. We've got Taylor May, our brand new branded left centre. Star is named in 4. Giral is the other winger. But Jerome, Luai, and Latufenu is the halves. Terrell May and Twal are the starting props still. Happy is the hooker. Seyfarth and Sukkar retain their second row positions despite talks of Semwella possibly coming back this week. Hopefully next week. And then we've got Doueihi retains his position at lock for trial number 2. The bench is then very, very almost identical. In fact, it is as last week. Hope, Bird, Pole, and Thayunu of the Sione variety. Naden is 18th. Papalangi's been dropped out back to there. He must be playing some cup this week.
He is. He may be the centres for Cup.
Yeah, good.
On the
Yeah,
wing.
that would be
Maybe
the
the
reason
wing.
why, I'm assuming, because he's getting pretty close too. And we were talking before about, way back in the episode, about Toa Makasini as centre options. We've got my Papalangi. He's been playing great, and he's a centre. He's definitely in the discussion. And so extended squad then is Charlie Murray, Charlie Staines, who has been obviously demoted, given to a Tupu chance. Luke Lelele returns to the extended squad, and Christian Mapapalangi is 22. Mate, Panthers are pretty short. We're pretty long, and to be perfectly honest, I think that's good value for us. Maybe to cover. We're at 4.10. Sportsbet has them at $1.24. They've got a couple of big ins, which are not good for us. A well-rested Isaiah Yeo and Nathan Cleary. Thomas Jenkins has been in career best form and single-handedly, probably, to be honest, beat us a month or two back when they got us in what was closer to the game than what it seemed. What do you reckon?
Very unlucky to lose that game.
What do you reckon?
I'm going to go against the grain, and I actually think we're going to win this one.
Why you say that?
I think the last 2 weeks, it's fair to say we've been quite poor, and I don't think that trend is going to continue. Yes, we lost 6 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row. We lost 6 in a row, but a lot of those games we weren't poor. We had a few moments that we just didn't own, and the other team did, and we lost quite a few games by 6 points or less.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we're going to have another poor game. If anything, I actually think we're going to lift for this game. Very similar to how we did for the Roosters. I think we're going to lift for it. And I think that combination of the May brothers is going to develop even further. Anyone that's read that article in the Daily Telegraph, they obviously talk about how they just have an instinct with each other. It's like they know what each other's going to do before they do it. And I can see us causing an upset here. I think we're going to really... That's what I'm looking for. I think we're going to shine a bit of light on... we know that he's a gun in attack, but we know he's still got work to do in defense in Tulagi. So I think we're going to put a bit of a light on that, and I think he's going to have not a fair few, but I think he's going to have some key misses that are going to lead to tries. So I'm actually going to have us winning this one 22-16.
Okay, I got us losing at 22-18. But we're going to go...
Another 4-point loss. So 2 games, 4-point losses.
Yeah, I know. We're going to go toe-to-toe with them. But in saying that, I wanted to back us, and a big part of me wouldn't have a problem with doing it. But in saying that, I think that I wouldn't be at all surprised if we win this game, at all. Even if we were to win it somewhat well. I think the side sounds weird, I know, but at least on paper, the side is starting to come together. I know we're still missing a few people as well. One thing I think particularly this week is we match up well individually, I think, across the park in a lot of ways against Penrith. But our issue at the moment is we're not a system, and we're not a connected system. I'm hopeful that another week that goes by we can do that. But again, we've got no more changes on the wing and whatnot. So I just think that Penrith are finding that they're hitting their straps at the right time. I don't think they're the same side that they were. I think they'll finish somewhere around 5th, 6th, 7th. I don't expect them to keep on winning the way that they are. But what they are is well-drilled, and they're cohesive. And I think that we can't overcome that at the moment. The Warriors did it to us, where otherwise we match up well against the Warriors. The Warriors beat us through being a cohesive unit, both in attack and defence, with very little chinks in the armour. I think that's what Penrith do really well. So unless we can... The way we win is we execute all our chances. And we're generally not a team that's very good at that at all. We create far more chances than people often think, but our execution is awful. It's been awful for forever. So I think we can beat Penrith if we take our chances. I don't think we will, and for that reason, I think that we lose 22-18.
Yeah, and look, I can see the dial swinging back the other way as well, but I don't know. I've just got a feeling this week, and I don't know why. Maybe being down at Leichhardt has given me a false sense of security. Who knows? But it is God's country, so.
Exactly right. Yeah. Look, I'll give us every chance, that's for sure. And I think, again, those odds, I think we're going to be in it. I think any
That's
NRL
very
side
long
that you,
odds.
yeah, I think any NRL side that you think has a legitimate chance of being in a game, even if they're not the favourite, $4 something, pretty good value in my eyes. You got a bold prediction for us?
I think Tui Tupu is going to score a double on Deadly.
You fuck. That was mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, stop. Let me go first. You go first.
I'm too generous, mate. You have it. I want you to have it.
Asshole.
Is that it?
Yes, that's my bold prediction.
Okay, that's good. Hey, I like that one. Mine is that we're going to play well. I think that we've now added an extra ex-Panther in there as well. We saw how Tito and Jerome got up for the game. Tito getting up for the game is big because he's at fullback. And we saw how he got up for the game from the wing in the earlier game. He's going to be more involved, which means more Tito, more good, right? Especially on the ball up through the middle. He is phenomenal in and around the ruck. Phenomenal. Like the only bloke I can think of off the top of my head who's probably better is the bloke who's his opposite this week in Dylan Edwards. But we've got Tito there at fullback. I think Jerome's going to lift for the game. I think Jerome can start to see now with Taylor back. Taylor's coming up against the club that sacked him. And the Mays love a chip on their shoulder. Is there a sense of abandonment there? I don't know. I think Mays is going to be up for the game. Goodness. Perform anything like he did on the weekend and look out. So yeah, I can see us getting up in that regard. So just from that ex-Panthers point of view, what do you make of that?
Oh, yeah, you can always see them lifting for it. You can't see that being any other way, considering how competitive all three of them are. I think another one there is another person that really lifted for that game was Terrell, and now with Taylor there, I think there was a couple of games ago, it could have been against the Roosters, where he was just brutal with every one of his runs. He was pushing hard. He was running hard. Last 2 weeks, he's been kind of dominated a little bit in the middle. Maybe not so much the Gold Coast game, but definitely the Warriors game. And I think we're going to see a bit more aggression for him. So I think, I don't think that's questioned at all, really.
Now, did I give my bold prediction?
Yes, you said they're going to play and they're going to play well. Yeah,
that's a bit soft, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that Panthers connection are going to play. I think all of them are going to play out of their skin. But I reckon Latu is going to be told to run this week. I think we're going to see him run a fair bit. So in terms of bold predictions around Latu, he's going to be directly involved in 2 tries off the back of his running. Makes a break, dishes off, or he's at the line for offloads or whatnot, scoring a try himself, something like that. 2 try involvements for Latu off the back of his running game this week. Because the Fainus are quick learners, and I thought he was very passive last week and very shovelly and very glued to structure. And I think that that's not what we need in him as a halfback, to be honest. Latu as a halfback is just a phenomenal idea, and I get excited thinking about the future. But I don't think that's the role that he needs to play, and I think he can be used far more effectively. And I think when Doueihi comes in and shovels properly and well, I think we do start to see more of what we're going to see.
Yeah. I mean, I think that partnership with Romy and Latu is really much. It's so far in its infancy, people don't realise. I think it's only going to get better.
Mate, anything on that Panthers game?
No, I think it's solved it.
Very good. We might jump into the PSAs. Before we do, part of the PSAs, we often shout out West Tigers Media. I want to give a particular shout out to West Tigers Live and West Tigers Podcast and the content that those guys have been putting out this week. They've done a couple of crossovers, which was a really good listen. And they've been doing a bit of work with a bloke up here. People will be familiar. I'm sure that they've heard. They're bigger audiences than ours, but Adele Haj is his name. He coaches up here at South Magpies, from my understanding. I think Carmichael is head out there. I can't remember, but he's doing regular coaching things on West Tigers Life, and they've done a few crossovers. And they also did an interview, Rob and he did an interview with David Riccio yesterday on a podcast, and they had a good chat to him back and forth and challenged him on a few things. And to Riccio's credit, he was awesome. He was good on it. Like, he's really, really good and open and honest. And it was good to hear him as a journo we hear on mainstream media talk a bit more frankly. So, point being, those two podcasts, you guys have put out some fucking awesome content in the last little period. So, hats off to you. Well done. And yeah, I'm here for it. So keep it coming. I love listening to West Tigers commentary when it's not my own voice. The other podcast I always recommend, the local boys down there, or actually one local, one up here, who are the junior experts and the go-tos, West Tigers faithful. Get on over and follow, listen, subscribe to them. Good stuff. Joe and Jared over there. The Ambush on Facebook, go and follow them as well. And the westtigersforum.com is a good place to read lots of thoughts, interesting perspectives and opinions. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple, Spotify and YouTube. And thanks again to our sponsor, Best on Ground Digital, bestongrounddigital.com. They will not steer you wrong. Anything digital marketing related, they'll fix you up. They'll sort you out, bestongrounddigital.com. So, mate, long show. You've had a long week. You've been travelling left, right and centre. You've gone down the East Coast and back up the East Coast with 2 points in your back pocket there, champion. Mate, you're probably ready for a good night's sleep, eh?
I dare say so. Yes,
I am. Is that it? I've just been talking for the last 6 minutes straight. I was expecting a couple more for it.
I'm trying to stifle a yawn, so I'm no offense, but I'm tired.
Oh, that's all right, mate. I put most people to sleep. You've done very well to get through what is an hour and 11 minutes. So happy days. Happy days on the day that Appy has re-signed. Nothing more to say than Saturday, 5:30 p.m, Combank Stadium. Get out there and support the boys because they're going to win again, according to Toby, and go the mighty, goodness me, West Tigers.
Up the Tigers.